like to introduce to you the president of Thomas Aquinas College. Dr. Paul O'Reilly is a graduate of the class of 1984 and a 35-year member of the teaching faculty. Dr. O'Reilly has served our community by taking on many leadership roles as Assistant Dean for Student Affairs, as Vice President for Development, as Vice President for Advancement, and as a member of the college's Board of Governors since 2012. Dr. O'Reilly was appointed president of the college in June of 2021 and is the first alumnus to hold the position in the college's history. Dr. O'Reilly holds a master's and a doctoral degree in philosophy from the University of Laval in Quebec. And I'd like to welcome Dr. O'Reilly to the podium at this time. Dr. O'Reilly. God bless you.
Thank you. I'd like to make these remarks to the freshmen. As you begin here at Thomas Aquinas College, I want to speak briefly about what you should expect from the college. More particularly, how the formation you receive here over the next 4 years will change you. That is, what kind of person you will become. You will discover that there is so much that the college has to offer you if you devote yourself to the program. What's truly at stake is the formation of a certain kind of soul, a soul so formed that you will become someone who understands and loves the truth, lives well with others, and has the desire and capacity to improve the community you live in. A number of years ago, the Thomas Aquinas College faculty considered what are the virtues we expect our students to acquire by the time they graduate from the college. It's good to reflect on this, because you best achieve what TAC has to offer if you're aware from the beginning. Let me start with a few words about the moral virtues that typify a Thomas Aquinas College graduate. There are 4 moral virtues you should expect to acquire. The list is not exhaustive, but at least 4. The moral virtues: love of the intellectual life, confidence that one can come to know the truth, humility to recognize that you need help along the path to wisdom, and love for the common good. Now, no, you do not become virtuous by chance, but by habitual practice. So first, you must cultivate a love of the intellectual life, a love born from wonder. Plato says philosophy begins in wonder, and here, in a world filled with noise and distraction, you are invited to wonder about the highest things, truth in all its various aspects. 2, you'll need confidence that the truth can be known. That is not naive optimism. It's a conviction grounded in the reality that we are made for truth, and that, especially under the light of the teaching church and in the company of your fellow students, you can make real progress toward it. 3, you'll need humility, perhaps more than you expect. Humility to admit what you don't yet know, to accept correction, to ask for help. Humility to learn from the great thinkers with reverence, and above all, humility to let reality, not opinion, be your measure. As St. Thomas teaches, we must conform our minds to what is, not try to bend truth to our will. And finally, you must love the common good. This means not just studying for yourself, but living and learning for others, for your family, your country, and your church. Your education is not for private self-improvement, but for generous service. Now, alongside these moral virtues, you will cultivate intellectual habits, These are intellectual virtues, broadly speaking, the habits of mind that help you seek and understand what is true. You will begin to see the distinction among the disciplines, the difference between mathematics and natural science, between history and poetry, and between philosophy and theology. Each subject has its proper mode, its principles, its kind of precision. But you will also discover the unity of the disciplines, how all the disciplines illuminate one another, and how theology, because it proceeds from divine revelation, rightly stands as the queen of the sciences. Also, you'll come to understand that the order of the disciplines reflects the profound order of the world, that there is a relationship between the non living and the various kinds of natural living beings. Further, that there is a kind of life that transcends the material world. And as you gain these intellectual virtues, you'll develop the ability to converse fruitfully and charitably with others. You'll practice this every day in class. Discussion is not just a method here, it's part of the goal. Learning to speak clearly, to listen carefully, to disagree honorably is essential to liberal education. Now, all of this, the pursuit of truth, requires discipline, effort, and perseverance. Men do not create truth, they discover it, and nature loves to hide. She reveals herself not to the arrogant or the passive, but to those who are docile and industrious, those willing to meet her on her terms. You'll also discover that philosophers often don't disagree simply about what's true or false, but about what comes first in being or in knowledge. And it's in wrestling with these foundational matters that your minds will be shaped most profoundly. But make no mistake, you are the primary agent in your education. No one here will pour knowledge into your soul. Your tutors will guide, question, and propose, but it's your task to think, to wrestle, to discover. If you fail to see for yourself, you fail to learn. So, how should you prepare to inculcate these virtues while you're here at TAC? Let me suggest 4 things. The first is pretty obvious: prepare for class. Now, what does that mean, prepare for class? At a minimum, it means read the readings, but read the readings actively with questions. Why does the author say what he does? Does he have a principal conclusion that he draws? If so, what evidence does he suggest? Read actively in order to prepare to participate in class, but also plan ahead. So this semester, first semester of freshman year, there'll be a time when you're reading longer readings in Herodotus and seminar. At the same time, longer readings in the theology tutorial. Look ahead, prepare your time so that you can be ready for class. Second, avoid distractions. And there are many, many more now than there ever have been. Bishop Skredka helped us by talking about a certain kind of silence that you want to habituate yourself to. And that can be understood literally and figuratively. Avoid the distractions of the internet, social media. I can guarantee you this, that none of you are going to graduate and say, I wish I'd watched more movies while I was here. I wish I had been more active on social media. You won't say that. You'll regret the time you spent there if it is an impediment to preparing for class. And above all, be very mindful of new technology and smartphones. You know that the college already has a policy of not bringing the smartphones into our public buildings, But it's when you're back in your dormitory that that can be a real temptation for you. Smartphones, even if they're sitting in the corner, can be a distraction, let alone when they're in your hand. So be disciplined with this technology because it can distract you from the most important things. Cultivate friendships. Friendships Friendship is a way to virtue because good friends encourage what is best in you. So here, that means friends who encourage you to prepare for class, help with the avoidance of distractions, among other things. And again, if you devote yourself to others, you will discover true and lifelong friendships. And finally, develop a deep spiritual life. The spiritual life is not a distraction, it's not something else you do. It will actually assist you in becoming a better person and a better student. Grace builds on and perfects nature. So, take heart. You're beginning something noble and difficult. And in the end, you will receive an education for a lifetime. With wonder, humility, confidence, and charity, you will grow into the kind of person who seeks truth, loves what is good, and is capable of giving to others what has been received. May God bless you.